9 Siberian hikers vanish without a trace. Veterans of the wilderness gone in a single night. Footprints in the snow end at a torn tent. Bodies lie scattered, some barefoot, some with broken bones, one in a pose of defence, a few stained by radiation. No one agrees on what really happened. Not rescue workers in 1959, not today. The ocean once swallowed the Mary Celeste's crew, leaving dinners uneaten and a ship adrift, but no sign of violence. And in 1972, a stewardess falls 33,000 feet from a crashing plane and lives. These aren't tall tales, they're history's cruelest punchlines. Welcome to 6 coincidences too bizarre to be random. Not even experts can explain them all. What if coincidence is just the word we use when reality doesn't add up? In the frozen heart of the Ural Mountains, rescuers stumble onto a tent half buried in snow. The fabric is sliced open from the inside. No footprints approach, only 9 sets fleeing into the darkness. Inside, boots and coats are left behind, as if the hikers had no time to think, only to run. Days later, bodies are found scattered across the slope and in a ravine, some barefoot, one with a fractured skull, others with broken ribs and massive internal injuries. Yet their skin shows barely a scratch. The hikers' journals end mid-thought. The last photographs capture laughter, then nothing. A few pieces of clothing test positive for radiation. At the funerals, mourners whisper about strange skin tones. Official reports speak of a compelling natural force, but offer no answer for the panic or the wounds. Avalanche studies, hypothermia, and wind-driven snow explain some details, but not why 9 experienced mountaineers would cut their way out into minus 40 degrees Celsius air. Far from the snowfields, the Mary Celeste drifts empty in the Atlantic. Her cargo hold carries barrels of industrial alcohol. The crew's belongings are untouched, and the ship is still seaworthy. The only sign of trouble, a missing lifeboat and a logbook that ends with the shipwreck near the Azores. No blood, no sign of struggle, no storm on record. Court inquiries find no evidence of foul play, only that the crew left in a hurry, for reasons lost to the sea. Natural explanations, alcohol fumes, waterlogging, panic, persist, but the truth remains out of reach. 2 disappearances, decades and continents apart, each with chaos written in the evidence and silence in the aftermath. A Yugoslav airliner explodes without warning. 28 people are thrown from the sky, and only 1 survives the fall. Vesna Vulovic, a 22-year-old flight attendant, plummets from 33,330 feet, higher than Everest's summit, without a parachute. Investigators later confirm a bomb tore the plane apart at cruising altitude, scattering wreckage over the forests of Czechoslovakia. Vesna's section of fuselage crashes into a snowy slope, wedged between trees. She's found unconscious, pinned by a food trolley, her legs and spine shattered, ribs and skull broken. Against every expectation, her heart keeps beating. Doctors later point to the snow's cushion, the way the fuselage crumpled, and even her naturally low blood pressure as possible reason she lived while everyone else perished. Vesna endures a coma, months of surgery, and years of pain, but she walks again and meets her rescuers. Guinness World Records names her the sole survivor of the highest fall without a parachute. Some question the details, but the official investigation stands. Survival from that height is supposed to be impossible, yet Vesna Vulovic's name is still there in the record books, a reminder that sometimes randomness doesn't just take, it gives back too. A quiet afternoon in Sylacauga, Alabama. Without warning, an 8.5-pound chondrite crashes through the roof of a house, bounces off a radio, and lands on Ann Hodges as she naps on a couch. The odds of a meteorite striking a human are so remote that, in all of recorded history, Ann remains the only confirmed case. The bruise on her hip becomes nearly as famous as the stone itself. A legal fight breaks out over ownership, but the meteorite ends up in a museum, still bearing her name. 2 decades later, the universe sends a different kind of message. On August the 15th, 1977, a 72-second burst of radio energy right at the hydrogen line, 1,420 megahertz, registers on the Big Ear Telescope in Ohio. Astronomer Jerry Amon circles the printout and writes a single word: wow. The signal, known as 6EQUG5, never repeats. Follow-up scans find only silence. Some suggest comets, satellites, or natural bursts, but none fit the signature. One stone hits a person. One signal whispers across the void. Coincidence, or is the universe trying to get our attention? July 4th, 1826, the nation's 50th birthday. 2 men, once bitter rivals, now linked by history and friendship, lie dying in distant houses. Thomas Jefferson, author of the Declaration of Independence, fades in Virginia. John Adams, the second president, holds on in Massachusetts. Neither knows the other's condition. By evening, Jefferson is gone. Hours later, Adams breathes his last. His final words, "Thomas Jefferson survives," hang in the air, unaware that Jefferson has already passed. Both die on the same day, exactly 50 years after the signing of the Declaration. No arrangement, no plan, just a perfect symmetry. Historians call it chance, a quirk of the calendar. But for a country built on ideals they helped write, the timing reads like a closing line written by fate itself. 2 founders, gone on the 4th of July. Coincidence? Maybe. In 1977, a single 72-second burst from space, known as the WOW signal, was recorded and never repeated, despite decades of follow-up. Throughout this documentary, we've seen that even the most skilled hikers, like the Dyatlov group in 1959, and experienced sailors, such as the Mary Celeste crew in 1872, can vanish or face outcome science struggles to explain. We've documented Vesna Vulovic's survival from a 33,000-foot fall, Ann Hodges' injury by an 8.5-pound meteorite, and the deaths of 2 US presidents on July the 4th, 1826. Each event is supported by official records, logs, or eyewitness accounts, yet crucial details remain unknown, whether the source of a radio signal, the cause of a disappearance, or the odds behind a historic date. Toda experts still analyse these cases, seeking patterns or explanations. The evidence shows that rare coincidences do occur. Sometimes, what we call random chance leaves behind questions no document can fully answer.